La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
So can you explain the concept of a saint in Islam? Of course, the term saint is not a Muslim term, right? The idea of sanctity, right, which is something that is, of sanctity, that something that is preserved from the mundane, something that is precious to Allah, that is precious to God, etc. Some people get sensitive that, well, this is a Christian term, right? But sanctity, the idea, do we use the word saint or not? That's a matter of choice. The term in the Quran, the Quranic term is wilaya, right? Wilaya, which is electhood. If you use a simple translation, is electhood. And what is electhood? The ulama define electhood as being a wali. They give a few definitions. One is man tawalla Allah fatawallahu Allah, is the person who chooses Allah above all else, so Allah chooses them above all others, right? So how does one become of the elect servants of Allah? They're described in the hadith that actually this is a question from online, don't choose it, that comes up in today's lesson, which is the hadith of electhood, right? The elect servant of Allah, the wali, is the one who upholds all the commands of Allah, leaves all Allah's prohibitions, fulfills the rights of Allah's creation, striving for excellence therein. Right? Striving for excellence. And then there's levels of electhood in accordance with the degree of the good that they do in their relationship with Allah and in their relationship with Allah's creation. Another definition of the wali that the scholars give is that the elect servant of God is the one who fulfills the rights of Allah with excellence to the extent possible, and the one who fulfills the rights of Allah's creation to the extent possible. And that is the elect servant of Allah. Believing in the reality of electhood, of wilaya, is a point of belief in Islam. The texts of Aqeedah mention belief in both the existence of elect servants of Allah and believing that Allah honors them with karamat, right, with honorific miracles, is a Quranic reality, which is why Imam Ibrahim al-Laqani in his Jawharat al-Tawheed, which we'll be covering in the summer here at Seekers Guidance Canada, he says, وَأَثْبِتًا لِلْأَوْلِيَا الْكَرَامَةِ وَمَنْ نَفَاهَا فَانْبُذًا كَلَامًا. Affirm the honorific miracles of the elect servants of Allah, and whoever denies it, reject their speech. Why? Because in the Quran we see a mention of so many of the righteous servants of Allah who are not prophets, such as, today is a Friday, such as Ashab al-Kahf. No one says that they're prophets, but Allah honored them with miracles. And others, Sayyidah Maryam was not a prophet, right? But Allah honored her with many a miracle. Others were mentioned in the Quran. We know from the miracles of the Sahaba, and so on. But the greatest karama, the greatest honorific break in norms that Allah gives the elect servants of Allah is al-istiqama, is uprightness. The a'zamu karamatin al-istiqama. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the awliya in the Quran, telling us, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Truly, the elect servants of Allah, the awliya of Allah, لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ, they're not to be feared for. nor shall they ever grieve, nor do they grieve. وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ, nor will they grieve. لَهُمُ الْبُشْرَى وَلَهُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ, those who truly believed. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, it's in the past tense, the madi, because it's for tahqiq. Those who truly believed. Right? So if you say الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ, would be they believe. Right? So they respond faithfully. But الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those who have truly believed. Like their belief is a done deal. They truly believe. وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ, and who were ever mindful of Allah. So they had these two qualities. إِكْمَالُ الْإِيمَانِ, right? The completion of faith. So they believed and they acquired the awsaful iman, the qualities of the faithful servants of Allah. And number two, they were ever mindful of Allah. They upheld taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَهُمُ الْبُشْرَى فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. Theirs is the glad tidings in this life and in the next. Right? So, how does one strive to become of the awliya of Allah? Follow the Prophet ﷺ, right? The Mullah Ali al-Qari, in one of his works, it defines who is an elect servant of Allah? Someone who has realized man taqqaqa bi-ittiba'i an-nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Someone who's realized in following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in their faith, in their actions, in their conduct, in their character, and in their states. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us that. It requires, of course, knowledge. Right? They say one of the definitions of an elect servant of Allah is عَالِمٌ عَمِلَ بِعِلْمِهِ فَأَوْرَثَهُ اللَّهُ عِلْمَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ. It's a person of religious knowledge who acted upon that knowledge. So Allah granted them knowledge of what they knew not, of the meanings of spiritual consciousness. Right? And the knowledge that's mentioned here is al-ilm al-nafi', is beneficial knowledge, which is the knowledge of the path of drawing closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The knowledge of being able to bring the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam practically into one's life. Right? And there's absolute need for such knowledge, and that's what we'll be looking at today, actually, in the section of the Book of Assistance, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. We'll take one more question.